All right. Today is the 26th of March. Holy crap. Scott Taylor used to call him Coach Scott, but now who calls who Coach?
I call you Coach.
There you go. That's the way I like it. I like to be in charge. Scott and I have known each other for a long time. He was my daughter's coach back at Santa Margarita. She graduated in 2005, but we've known each other a long time. And even back when Mama G used to give advice.
Correct.
Solicited or unsolicited?
It was good. It was good advice, but I didn't follow it then.
Well, you made a few changes.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so we kind of started seeing each other at the gym. And then what happened? I said, I'm sure I said, oh, you know what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I said that I was having some back issues, and the doctor told me to get into the weight room and started building strength, lose weight, and try to avoid surgery. And that's where our conversation began of how you could help me and how I could help myself. And we went from there.
Yeah. The old Mama G has a fixer problem.
Yeah.
Somebody says they need help. There she is. So we talked about the experiment. You were interested in improving your health. You were concerned about your back and your diagnosis, what they were telling you. You had some weight you were carrying, which certainly impacts back problems, pain.
At that point, about 230. I was holding about 230. And the doctor's advice was try to lose 15 to 20 pounds and see if the back improves to try to avoid a surgery situation.
So at that point, red flags with blood work, cholesterol, pre-diabetes, blah, blah, blah.
I've been on 10 milligrams of cholesterol pills for 15 years. And I do take a blood pressure pill and a cholesterol pill.
Oh, so interesting. So the question is, I wonder if you could come off of those things.
We'll find out next week.
Yeah. So we're going to get some new blood work following
tomorrow morning.
So we started together January 1. Yeah. January, February, March. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here we are 13 weeks later.
Yeah. So we talk about the learning curve being super stiff.
Yes. The first few weeks, I was your project, of course, because I'm not a tech guy. And so that was challenging for me to obviously, and then also learning and experimenting and watching and reading, the websites and the blogs would kind of get me up to speed. I'm more of a visual guy. For me to be able to visualize things and watch and look online and see things was easier for me to learn than just like, hey, do this.
Right.
So I learned a lot quicker by also reading other people's MyFitnessPals on how they input things and how they do things. Because now it's second nature, and it's,
and that's exactly what I just wrote in my email to the new group, that this will be second nature. So we initially started with the video call.
Correct.
So that's it's a lot of information, right?
Yes.
Hour and a half kind of thing. Did you just sit down and power through it, or did you kind of segmentally watch the exercise component with Sam and all of that? Or
partially through it all. At that point, I had a lot of free time, so I tried to.
Right, because you were off from coaching at that point.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to have that month to be able to get really dialed in. And it probably took me 2 weeks to get where I was like comfortable with things, with you explaining the process of this or that, or how do you do this, or, inputting things the wrong way.
Right.
And then I felt by maybe the end of January, by the end of the 4th week, I was pretty much in a good place. And I'm like, okay, I can maintain this, feeling good, eating good, not eating out.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the eating aspect of it. So you like to cook.
Yeah, I'm a cook.
The recipes felt comfortable.
They were different for me at first because, to be honest with you, I joked on my post at one time that I spent a lot of time at Trader Joe's. I mean, a lot of the spices that I didn't have and little things like that, but it was easy for me to go get. It was just making a list. Like you told me, make a list, get to Trader Joe's and go here. So now the house has everything in it. When I go to the recipes now, it's like I don't have to go out and get it, because if I got to go out and get it, maybe I'm not going to make it. So it's much easier now that if I say I'm making a tamale pie, I have everything in the freezer or in the fridge, or I have, frozen things from Trader Joe's in the frozen drawer. So it's not as tempting to go off track.
Right.
And not like I don't need to go off track either. I'm okay without.
Well, and on a side note, satisfied, not deprived.
No, 100% satisfied.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. No, I mean, it's been fun. I've it's been fun learning how to cook. And I mean, it's fun. I mean, Sundays is my day. I get in there and grind it out and cook for the whole week. That's the other thing I think was a big thing was food prep and leftovers. I mean, I never had doubled and tripled recipes because I think, and as we get busier, I found that like, if I cook a lot this day, then like I don't really need to start thinking about things until Thursday, and it's just easy because it's frozen or it's this, or I have a bowl of chili because I'm super busy. Hey, Rhonda, take it out of the fridge, put it in the sink. We'll eat it tonight. That kind of thing. That was like the
stellar
progression of how it went, and that made it a lot easier. You know, even now.
So there was planning.
Correct.
And a thought process to what that would look like. But the recipes were comfortable enough that it wasn't like brain surgery, right? You buy the ingredients, you follow the directions, you execute, you portion. Probably the portioning was maybe the most cumbersome aspect.
Yes, I remember you the first couple of times you're like, you're not eating enough or you're eating too much.
Right.
And then I was able to kind of figure out, okay, what this means and do the, you know, how much I really should be having to meet my macros or to meet my
macros, the calories, because for everybody, especially new people, the recipes are built around 400 calories. Because the majority of our clients are women who are eating, about 1,500 to 1,600 calories a day. So for somebody like you, I think you were like 1.5-ing.
Yes, 1.5 servings. Yeah, most things.
Yeah. So I mean, it's easy enough. It's not.
Yeah. No, it wasn't hard, but it just again, it was different. I'd never done it, so it took a little bit of time to get squared away and settled, situated. So the weight started, the weight aspect of it. So we have blood work from, when was your last blood work? A year ago.
Okay. So it'll be
interesting. And at that point, I think everything was okay. But again, I think I was a little high on the LDL or something. And that's why.
The fact that you're on cholesterol meds.
10 milligrams. It's a low dose, but it's something.
It's medication.
Yeah.
And then blood pressure meds. So it's great to know. Right?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. We're gonna find out.
This is fun. This is where the payoff comes for me. So we started. You pretty much succumbed right away, and I say succumb because so many people fight the process. It's like, take it easy. I'm telling you to eat. Your food you're eating is not only nutritious, but it's delicious. So cut it out. But, we did the weekly weigh-ins. Did you ever take pictures before? Did you measure before?
I do have a picture in December that I could probably send over. Rhonda had that. She asked me that the other day. I didn't measure anything. No, I just, was more focused on like the food process of how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I knew that if I get dialed in with the food, that the weight would eventually come off just by the process of all three aspects, the food, the exercise, and the... So
we saw that graph doing this thing, like the California earthquake, but it just in a downward trend. And you actually met your goal in the 90 days.
Yeah, my goal was 210, and I'm right at like 210.8 right now, which
there you go.
Yeah.
Goal achieved.
So it was like total, I think, 16 pounds.
Now we have completed the 90 days. Do we move into the lifestyle, or you kind of, stay consistent with your food? Because why would you not stay consistent with your food?
No,
what changes?
Nothing's going to change. I'm good. I'm happy with it. It's, I'm not going to have any changes. I'm good.
So one of the things we did talk about is you are thinking, well, I might want to drop a little, a few more pounds. I want to get stronger.
Yes.
You're doing more workouts. So this is where we have to get more calculated. So now we've gotten to the point where, okay, this worked and you were on a downward trend, and now it's like, okay, now what do we do? So now we're going to work a little bit more together to customize, to look at your training. And we talked about you getting with Samantha B and kind of coming up with a program that's going to be more effective. You don't need to spend forever in the gym, but you can get in and get out and meet all your goals, whatever those happen to be for you. And then we want to talk about making sure you're getting fuel before and after. So the timing becomes more critical, because you did mention that during workouts, maybe you started to feel a little
I think maybe in the last
deprived.
Only in the last few weeks. I think it may be because I just haven't planned my meals out properly. And I'm like, I can go get a swim in for this amount of time. And then all of a sudden I'm, 1,500 miles or 30 minutes into my swim, and I'm running out of energy, and I know what it is. It's like, okay, I'm done. I got to go home and eat. But I need to plan it out better. The process of should have gone home and eaten, take a half hour break, 45 minutes, hour, whatever, then go, do it, and I'd be in a better
So that's
place.
the benefit of staying in the lifestyle, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Because not only that, you get those weekly calls, which, the calls aren't really about, occasionally we'll talk about specifics with, the program and this, that, and the other thing, but really it's about the mental game, right?
Yeah.
And being a coach and everyday athlete now and former real athlete, the mental game is important. Because you gotta stay in the game, otherwise you lose focus, and that's when everything goes haywire. So you guys are big into going to the river, right?
Yes.
And your past life with the river was,
well, was
lots of drinking and maybe no thought about food, no? Right?
No thought about food, but we were out there for 4 days a few weeks ago, and I had every meal planned out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
Before.
Yeah. And I was, eating out
Right,
every night. You're going out.
Crap.
We cook in. It's healthier lifestyle. 100.
But the cooking in, initially for people, I think it feels like it's going to be a chore. Oh, I got to cook dinner.
Right.
And now, myself included, it tends to be like, I'd rather eat my food.
Yeah.
And who wants to spend the money, and who wants to have to wait, right? And then what's the food going to be like when you actually get it? I mean, there's just so many implications to being out.
I don't think I've eaten. I haven't had the desire to eat out.
Could care less, right?
Yeah. I mean, even when we went on family events over the last, whatever, they're going to Papa John's Pizza or whatever, they're going to here or here, I would just make sure that I had my snack before or my dinner before and eat there, because I know it. I also try to eat early. I don't eat too late, so they would go there at 7:30 at night and everybody's eating pizza and stuff, where I just knew better to eat at 5 or 5:30 like I do every day, just stay on my schedule.
So what
I can follow a plan.
Well, athlete, what did your family, were there had to be some jabs along with the positivity and support, but I bet you that, hey, what, Scott, how come you're not having a beer? How come you're not?
No, I think
I get it.
I think the one thing I did notice is a couple of times when we were at the river, we were with friends, or we were at a social setting, not only at the river, but at a restaurant, maybe I'm not eating, is that people are pushers. I noticed we're there and, I'm not eating because I've already had my meal, and there's onion rings and chicken wings on the table, and they're pushing them on me. And I'm like, I'm not hungry. Number one, I'm good. I already had my meal. I'm not hungry. But I think that bothers me a couple times. That people have done that. And it's like, I don't bother you to tell you what to eat. I'm fine and I'm good to go. So
well, you know what it is though, because they have this guilt because you have the self-control, and now they want it. Yeah. And if you're not eating it, well, maybe they shouldn't have it. So, for them, too bad. For you, good for you for, role modeling, like we talk about all the time. But, and your wife has gotten the privilege of eating this newfound food.
She loves it. It's good.
Right?
Because she cooks, but when I took over, I've always been
your work schedules. And
I'm home, and I have I'm home earlier in the day, so it's easier. I've always had that role. So, it's been fun. She likes it, and it's easy. She supports it 100%. It's not like she's going off. It's like, hey, I'm making dinner tonight is what we're having. And,
like I said, it's not like you're torturing her.
No, it's
not like it's diet food.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We have a couple new men coming in this month, and so I thought, it's a really good time to kind of hear from a male. I know that when Mark came in September, he was, obviously he lives with me. Obviously he lives the Mama G lifestyle when he eats the food that I provide, right? But then there's the times during the day, since he works out of the house or he's on the road or whatever, where it's like, what are you eating?
Yeah.
And his moment came when his doctor said, you need to go on statins. Right. And he couldn't figure it out. He's like, he's been a great exerciser for years. He's in better shape physically than he's been his whole life, perhaps. Right. And, but, that does not turn around the repercussions of one's food intake.
Right.
And especially for the long haul. So doctor, makes the mention of going on statins. He said, fine, fine, give me the statins. But I think that he let it kind of marinate within the next 24 hours. And I'll never forget that faded night when we were on the walk and coming back in the gate, and he's behind me. He says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I went, who said that? He's like, I'm sick and tired of being sick. I said, what? He's like, yep.
That's
and
funny.
then he kind of explained, what the scenario was.
Yeah.
And he thought, here I was like willing to just take this pharmaceutical instead of, taking advantage of what lives in my house.
Right.
And so he dove right in. And what I found with him, like I kind of found with you, and what I find with most of the men especially, is get in there and go eat.
Right.
Did you eat your snack yet? Here we are on
Yeah.
WhatsApp. Nope. Get into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Not acceptable. Your body could care less that you forgot to eat, that you were too busy, that you were da-da-da-da-da-da. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that. You know how important
Yeah.
getting that fuel in. You see it now. Now that you're fitter, stronger, faster, you're getting, your workouts are harder by merit of the fact that you're more capable, right?
Yeah.
Now you see that it's showing up in the eating. And guess what you get? You get to eat more.
Yeah.
Holy
good.
crap. It's not, what we'll do is we're going to add a calculated snack in.
Right.
Maybe a snack that we inject into a workout within a half hour or so after your
Right.
workout. Kind of still sitting in the same mentality. Those carbohydrates are what are going to replenish the glycogen stores.
Right.
The protein aspect is going to help maintain muscle mass, but help with the building, repairing. But the mentality nowadays is carbs are bad and protein is the thing, right? It's like, well, that's not the way the human body works. We can cause it to go into an emergent mode, like people do with ketosis and the ketogenic diet, where it in emergency mode will go after fat as the fuel. And intuitively or logically, I could say it's like, well, if I have fat, then I think I would want to use fat as fuel. But when you understand the repercussions of eating a high-fat diet, not only that, how extremely saturated fat, that these foods are inflammatory when we want to have anti-inflammatories. She's like,
playtime.
So nothing changes other than we're going to adjust your food a little bit. We're probably going to add in another snack, couple hundred calories. But that'll allow you to work harder, get stronger, increase your muscle mass, which will help you burn more calories 24 hours a day, maybe lose a little bit more body fat. But compositionally, we're looking for like a change that's going to be useful and helpful. And I, for one, am super excited to see those labs, because there's pretty much no way that we're not going to see positive changes across the board. And that's the important part. I talk a lot about, if you're driving your vehicle and the warning light comes on, right? Change the oil, check the engine. Most people are going to react fairly quickly, because you paid a lot of money for that car, or you're still paying money for that car, right? So, it behooves you to take action, because you know the repercussions of not keeping up on the care of your vehicle, right? It might be a very expensive, repair. It might decrease the life of your car, all of those things.
Yeah.
The strange thing is, to me, and I don't understand it, is, for those people who actually go to the doctor and actually have lab work, tests, those kind of things, and, here it is, comes to you, and you look at that, and there's, the red flags. How does somebody not pay attention to that? But maybe you kind of fell into that category when, however long ago, they said to you, some things are not working appropriately.
Right.
So we're going to give you a pill to fix this and that. Was there also a conversation ever, and it was probably a while ago, about lifestyle changes?
Yeah, I think the cholesterol, I didn't know I had high cholesterol, and maybe maybe late 2000s. I had not felt well, and I ended up going to the doctor or something, did my blood work, and it came back that it was hot, or that it was high. And so at that point, the doctor prescribed a pretty high dose of a statin. And then I got a newer doctor, a younger doctor, who kind of checked all my stuff. And this is around 2011 when I ended up, long story short, but I ended up in the hospital because I wasn't feeling well. And at that point, I was about 255 or 260 pounds.
Body's going, holy crap.
Yeah, and I remember I never considered myself, I told Rhonda to this day, is I never considered myself obese until the doctor came in and told me, mind you, I have one kidney, I have hydronephrosis of my kidney, I have multiple urological issues that I was born with or had over the years. And that was kind of like the wake-up call. So I dropped at that point from like a 260 down to 225, 230 pretty quick. Like, you know, new doctor, get me on track, healthy life. I followed this plan, but I kind of got stuck about that 230 range, and that's where I've been bouncing back and forth from like 225 to 230, you know, for probably 5 years.
And you were walking the dogs and kind of hiking, all that. You kind of live up in the hills, which is nice. But you joined the gym when?
I did have a gym membership, but I just joined this one this year after my back situation came about.
Okay, so that was where the gym kind of came in. So interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, you know, and that's the thing is when we start to see the red flags on paper, the process of degradation has already begun.
Yeah.
And that's therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap. You know, the fact that we are now sitting in an obesity epidemic, that we are literally causing our own demise, right?
Yeah.
By what we put in our mouth and our lack of exercise. It's all very interesting.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the Mama G lifestyle is that we're so different than everybody else out there. I mean, everybody else is out there about, you know, a diet, it's temporary, it's unsustainable. I mean, everybody we know, right?
Sure.
Is on some kind of diet, been on some kind of diet. They're like, oh, you know, when I'm doing the diet, you know, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, but then what happened? Where'd the diet go?
Yeah.
So it's always very interesting. And, you know, like I said, you will have the luxury now of going to the river and now making choices based on what you desire. So what happens is, and I think you can speak to this, especially since we talked about the fact of you now kind of having this shift in like going out and you know, kind of partying and drinking and just kind of, nobody gave a crap about calories or the repercussions of it. Now it's like, number one, how's it going to make me feel?
Yeah.
Number two, you know, do I really want to treat my body like that?
Yeah.
You know, and then the minute you start drinking, right? So we always go, alcohol, you know, level 1A carcinogenic, according to the World Health Organization. People are like, oh, wait a minute, how could alcohol be a toxin? I'm like, when you drink it, what happens to your body?
Right.
You're getting poisoned. That's why you feel so good. Must be like arsenic poisoning.
Yeah.
It feels good. You don't even know it. But point being is that like now you have the choice. Should you choose to have a glass of wine? Should you choose to have a beer or two?
Moderation.
You know, that's the key.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, if we're going to have wine now, I'm like, pull out the good stuff, honey. Yeah. Not drinking the $5, what was that, $2 chuck stuff anymore? No $2 chuck. No. Well, it's even like when we talk about, and I don't know if you ever had the non-nutritive sweeteners, the stevias, the splendas, you want a Diet Coke, but you know, somebody said to me, well, there's only a little tiny bit. And I said, well, how much arsenic does it take to kill you, right? Yeah. So it's funny how people make things, you know, like, feel like things are okay. Yeah. Like, well, you know, my cholesterol's only a little high, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. My doctor said it was okay to do this, that, and the other thing. So I think it's exciting. I always think it's exciting, especially when somebody that I know and, you know, to see them kind of come out the other end and to be successful. And that, you know, initially, stiff learning curve. Yeah. For you, it was the technology side of it. Yeah. And I get it. Like, but once you're in the technology side of it, like, I have a couple. They're a couple client, and he's just living the lifestyle. But his wife said every morning he gets his breakfast done. He has that scale, and he's weighing out his walnuts. I said, yeah, it's just it's kind of almost like a game. I do it too. I'll throw the walnuts on there. I'm like, oh, 20 grams, perfect. So it does become a game. It does become a lifestyle, and we only continue to, like we always say, get better for the rest.
Yeah.
So, any final comments?
I don't know. I think it's just been a good experiment for me all the way across the board. I think for my personal at work, I have a refrigerator at work, so I'm able to load that up. I know what I like for lunch, so it's easy for me every day of the week to put in. I already know I'm having an Ezekiel wrap. I know what's in it because I have a bag of arugula. I have a bag of this. I have a bag, so I can make it in my office. I know how much it is. It's easy. I like it. I'm a guy that can eat the same thing every day. I'm not like somebody that needs to go out venturing. So I've been able to be like, okay, I like the same breakfast. I like the lunch. Dinner, we go off and try new things. But I think having access to it, in your refrigerator or in your whatever, I think that was always helpful. Having snacks in the car if I need them, whatever I need to do. So it's been a great experience so far, and it's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
You know what Mama G always says. It is not about what you lose. It is all about what you gain. Have a beautiful day.